Good afternoon, students. My name is Pranita, and I will teach you economics. Today is my first class, first I will like to discuss about the syllabus of class 11 economics. So, students, uh, in class 11 economics, you have to study economics, and that is divided into two part. Part A, part A, that is statistics for economics, statistics for economics. In statistics, you have to study basically three chapters. I am all giving this information on the basis of NCERT book. So in NCERT book, there are three chapters in statistics. The first chapter is introduction. Introduction. That chapter contains the introduction. In this chapter you have to study about introduction of statistics, features, characteristics, and limitation of statistics. Second chapter that you have to study in statistics is collection, organization, and presentation of data. These two chapters contain 13 marks. In final examination, from these two chapters, the questions will be asked about 13 marks. And third chapter that is mentioned in your NCERT book of statistics, that is statistical tools and interpretation. And that chapter contains 40 marks. 27 marks. 27 marks. So overall, you from statistics you will get, the question will come of around 40 marks. So statistics cover 40 marks questions, and statistics you have, according to NCERT, three chapters you have to study. First one is introduction, second one is collection, organization, and presentation of data, and third chapter that is statistical tools and interpretation. And from and second chapter, first and second chapter contains 13 marks, and third chapter contains 27 marks. Overall 40 marks. Next, that is part B. The whole economics is class 11 is divided into two parts. First part is statistics, and part B that you have to study is introductory microeconomics. Introductory microeconomics. Again, according to NCERT, there are four chapters. 3 chapters from statistics and 4 chapters from microeconomics. The fourth chapter is again introductory microeconomics. The fourth chapter is introduction of microeconomics. Fifth chapter is consumers equilibrium. And demand. In first chapter contains 4 marks, means from first chapter the question will become around 4 marks. Second chapter of microeconomics, that contains 13 marks. Now next chapter, that is producer behavior. and supply. This chapter contains 13 marks. This chapter contains 13 marks, and last chapter, that is forms of market, and price determination under perfect competition with some application. That chapter again contains 10 marks. Overall, again, from microeconomics, total overall marks is 40 marks, means 40 marks from statistics and 40 marks from microeconomics. Total 80 marks from theoretical economics and 20 marks from project. That is the whole syllabus of economics. A project contains 20 marks. So students, that is the whole syllabus of economics. Again, I am revising it. In the class 11 economics, you have to study these 7 chapters overall, and whole economics is divided into 2 parts. Part A, that is statistics for economics. In this statistics, you have to study 3 chapters basically, that is introduction, collection, organization, and presentation of data. These 2 chapter contains 13 marks. And last chapter, that is statistical tools and interpretation. This chapter contains 27 marks. Then another part of economics, that is microeconomics, that microeconomics Burma sir will teach you. Again, in microeconomics, there are 4 chapters. In microeconomics, the first chapter is introduction, second is consumers, equilibrium and demand, then producer behavior and supply, and last one is forms of market and price determination under perfect competition with some application. Again, introduction 4 marks contains 4 marks. Consumer equilibrium contains 13 marks. Producer behavior and supply contains 13 marks, and forms of market and price determination contains 10 marks. So overall, again 40 marks from microeconomics, and 40 marks from statistics, and 20 marks from project. That is the whole syllabus according to the NCERT. So students, in the first chapter of statistics, that is introduction, in this chapter I will discuss about what is economics and introduction, then meaning of economics, the meaning of statistics, the scope of statistics, and importance of statistics in economics. So in first chapter, that is introduction, I will discuss these topic one by one. So today I will discuss what is the meaning of economics. In this chapter, in this topic, I will discuss what is the meaning of economics, and definition of economics given by different economists. So in first chapter, I will discuss meaning, then after scope of statistics, and then after importance of statistics. Students, in the first chapter of economics, first one is introduction, then meaning of economics. In this topic, I will discuss about different definition given by the economist, renowned economist of the world. These are wealth definition, welfare definition, scarcity definition, and growth oriented definition. These the more 4 definition that I will discuss. Then after I will discuss economic and non-economic activities. In this topic, I will cover introduction, what is economic activities and what is non-economic activities. You must have heard these names in your previous class also. In class 9 and 10th, you have studied about what is economic activities and what is non-economic activity. You have also studied what is wealth definition, who is the father of economics. Wealth definition is given by Adam Smith, who is the father of economics. Now I'll start, that is introduction of economics. So word economics has been derived by Greek words, two Greek words. First one is oikos, it means a house, and second one is nimin, means to manage. Initially, the definition of economics was to manage household work. Here you can see the meaning of economics. The economics word is taken from the Greek word. These are the combination of two words. First one is oikos and second one is nimen. Oikos means a house and nimen means to manage. So the meaning of economics is household management. Now, meaning of economics. As a subject, economics is very old subject. However, there is no harmony and its definition. Different economists have defined it in different ways, which has led to a lot of dispute and misconceptions. Various definitions of economics developed during the course of history have been broadly divided into four parts. Basically, definition of economics has been divided into four parts. First definition is given by Adam Smith. He is also considered as a father of economics. The first definition, very definition given by Adam Smith, and that is known as wealth definition of Adam Smith. After Adam Smith, the broader concept of definition was given by Alfred Marshall. The definition of Alfred Marshall of economics is known as welfare definition of Alfred Marshall. Then after Robbins, Lionel Robbins, he is also a renowned economist. He uh, he defined economics in a different perspective, and his definition of economics is known as scarcity definition of Lionel Robbins. Then the modern economic recently the definition of Samuelson of economics is considered most relevant, and his definition of economics is known as growth oriented definition of Samuelson. So basically, students, the definition of economics is uh, varied according to the change and evolution of human civilization and need and requirement of the economy, and there is various dispute and misconception. The first definition, that is given by Adam Smith, there is has a limited scope. Then after welfare, that is Marshall, he was not agree with the definition of Adam Smith. He added new concept in definition of economics. Then after Marshall, after a few years, Robbins given new economics of definition of economics, and that is known as scarcity definition. And the modern definition, which is very relevant from present scenario, that is given by Samuelson, that is growth oriented definition. So student, I will discuss one by one every definition. First I will discuss Adam Smith, then after Marshall, and then Robbins and Samuelson. So first I will discuss about wealth definition given by Adam Smith. So what is the wealth definition of Adam Smith? According to Adam Smith, economics is the science of wealth. Adam Smith emphasized only in definition of economics only on wealth. In the ordinary language, wealth means money. But in economics, the term wealth has a special meaning. In economics, wealth refers to those goods which satisfy human wants. Adam Smith was of the view that economics is concerned with the problems arising from wealth getting and wealth using activities of the people. According to Adam Smith, economics is concerned only with problems, how to get wealth and how to use wealth by the people. He was also interested mainly in studying the ways by which the wealth of all nations could be increased. His definition of economics was only confined to wealth getting and wealth using, and he was only interested in the way by which the wealth of all nations could be increased. His main focus was how to use wealth generate and how to use those wealth. Basically, he emphasized only in the wealth of all nation and how to increase the wealth. What should be the ways through which wealth would increase. So that is the definition of Adam Smith, that is very well known as wealth definition. After Adam Smith, another definition arise, that is definition that is known as welfare definition, and this is given by Alfred Marshall. He added in the definition of Adam Smith, he added the concept of welfare. According to Alfred Marshall, economics is a study of man in the ordinary business of life. It inquires how he gets his income and how he uses it. Alfred Marshall, on the side, the study of wealth. On the other hand, more important side of his definition is part of study of man. According to Marshall, the primary objective and ends of economics is the promotion of material welfare, which is a part of human welfare. Due to this reason, he shifted the emphasis from wealth to welfare. So, in Alfred Marshall definition of economics, economics is the study of man in the ordinary business of life. It inquires how he gets his income and how he uses it. In this definition, Professor Marshall is one side he was in favor of study of wealth. On the other hand, more important side, a part of study of man. He in his definition he emphasized a study of man in the ordinary business of life. According to Marshall, the primary objective and end of economics is promotion of material welfare, which is the part of human welfare. He shifted the emphasis from wealth to welfare. Professor Marshall gave definition of economics, and according to his definition of economics, he emphasized wealth as well as welfare of the human being. So, student, today I discuss about wealth definition given by Adam Smith. Again, I am revising it. According to Adam Smith, who is also considered as the father of economics, economics is the science of wealth. He gave a simple definition of economics, and according to him, economics is the science of wealth, And Adam Smith was of view that economics is concerned with problem arising from wealth getting and wealth using activities of people. He also interested mainly in studying the ways by which the wealth of all nations could be increased. His definition was only confined to how to wealth generate and how to use those wealth, and how to what are the ways through which wealth of all nations could be increased. And according to Alfred Marshall, Professor Alfred Marshall, he is also a renowned economist. He added that yes, economics is a study of wealth, but he also emphasized on the nature of human being, and in his definition he added that economics is a study of man in the ordinary business of life. It inquires how he gets his income and how he uses it. Means the human being, how a person gets his income and how the person uses those money. Means he emphasized on the psychology of human being, where the person not only earned money but he also wanted to spend those money in the welfare of the society. So in my next class I will discuss scarcity definition, that is given by Robbins, and growth oriented definition by Samuelson. And students, I hope you must have understand the definition of Adam Smith and definition of Alfred Marshall. And I hope you will must study at your home also. And in my next class, I will discuss scarcity definition and growth definition given by Samuelson. Thank you.